evening and welcome to the NCC Newsroom at the Newhouse School of Public Communications. I'm Sam Gelfand.
And I'm Liam Crowley. You're watching Democracy in Action, a project of the Broadcast and Digital Journalism and the Magazine, News, and Digital Journalism departments here at Syracuse University.
This is the fourth of 5 live streams covering Election Day in Onondaga County. We have reporters at dozens of polling places in central New York documenting the 2021 races. We have 2 of our reporters live from polling sites across Onondaga County as we continue our team coverage. Dylan Johnson is at Believers Chapel in Cicero, and Maggie Haggerty is to the south at Lafayette Fire Station. Dylan, we'll start with you. It sounds like things are picking up at the polls.
Yeah, here at Believers Chapel in Cicero, it's the busiest time of the day. People are off work and flocking to come vote. But the turnout is already much more than officials expected. When I spoke with polling manager Bethany D'Alberto, she said 892 people had voted so far. She expected a local election and big pre-voting numbers to make this a quiet day, but part of the turnout has been a surprising number of first-time voters who have come out. D'Alberto says this excites her, and she hopes it's a sign of things to come for future elections. Back to you.
A line is building up at Lafayette Fire Department for voters in that area. NCC News reporter Maggie Haggerty is there at rush hour. Maggie?
Just moments ago, people were waiting outside here at Lafayette Fire Department in order to put in their ballots out in the cold. A group of volunteers have been working hard in order to get this line moving. However, they do have to follow COVID protocols. Those who are coming in the building in order to vote must wear a mask. And there is also social distancing encouraged, which is why there is a line building up. However, for those who are coming, voting does end at 9 p.m. tonight and should expect a line right now because it's rush hour. For more information, check out our newscast later on. For Democracy in Action, I'm Maggie Haggerty.
Thanks, Maggie. The New York State Attorney General's office has set up a hotline to address election-related questions and issues faced by voters. Anyone with questions or concerns can call 1-800-771-7755 and speak to a member of the Attorney General's office. The hotline will be active until 9 p.m. tonight.
Many polling sites around Onondaga County are experiencing lower voter turnouts than in previous years. Democracy in Action's Matt Hassan has more on the story.
Cast a ballot on Election Day, Bellevue Heights United Methodist Church, and Mundy Branch Library. It could have been based on the size of the precinct, but the library had significantly less people come out to the polls. Fritz Jones says he realized the importance of voting and having capable leaders while serving in the Korean War. This is why he wasn't happy with the lack of voters at the library.
You got to get the right people in there, you know. The reason we get so many yo-yos is because a lot of people don't vote.
Although it was an off-year election, the library's lack of turnout was shocking.
Here at Mundy Library, it was quiet all morning. From 8 to 10 a.m., there was no more than a dozen voters. But those who did vote had a good reason for it.
One voter showed up because he believes in Mayor Ben Walsh.
He's been a pretty good mayor of the city so far, and I like a lot of the things that he's doing. And it takes time to do a lot of things that it takes to get Syracuse back in the way it was years ago.
The man was also passionate about election security. He voted no on Propositions 3 and 4, which would let people register to vote right before the election and use an absentee ballot without an excuse for not showing up in person. Reporting from Mundy Library in Syracuse, Matt Hassan, NCC News.
Polling sites across Onondaga County are reminding users or voters to turn over their ballots and vote yes or no on 5 proposed New York State constitutional amendments. Voter turnout is traditionally 30 to 40% lower in local election years than in state and federal contests, but local residents who came out to the polls today say it is a privilege to participate. Democracy in Action reporter Louise Rath has more.
Each year, the hallmark of American democracy is put on display on the first Tuesday of November.
Voting like this is basically what sets the United States apart from pretty much any other country in the world.
Voters like Greg and Leslie Hamilton are casting their votes in this year's local election cycle in Onondaga County.
This is the only way we have really of making a change.
Local elections often get overshadowed by state and federal election years, but that doesn't stop longtime voters from doing their part.
I don't think I've ever missed a vote. I don't care how minor it was or anything like that. So.
And here in the town of Liverpool, voters think local elections carry the same weight as state and national contests. And this year, 5 state referendums on the back of the ballot are bringing state interest to a local election year.
I don't think it was advertised enough. I think they should have explained it more.
The referendums include amendments to the New York State Constitution and could change redistricting procedures, the timeline for voter registration, and absentee voting. And it's up to the poll workers to remind New Yorkers to turn over their ballots.
So we instruct all of our election inspectors when they're handing out the ballot to the voters to remind them to vote on both sides.
Dustin Zarni is the Onondaga County Elections Commissioner, and he keeps his fingers crossed on Election Day, hoping it all goes as planned.
It's actually run pretty smoothly, I better knock on wood.
Reporting in Liverpool, Louise Roth, NCC News.
Thanks, Louise. And we've had Democracy in Action reporters at nearly 50 polling sites today where Central New York residents have been casting their ballots throughout the day. Early votes are expected to roll in closer to 9 p.m. with in-person votes will arrive closer to 10. But until then, if you're looking for your Election Day fix, you can head over to our website, dia-cny.syr.edu. And in case you missed any of that, it's lower right here on your screen. When you get to the website, you're going to find the homepage right here. You can scroll all the way down until you come across the election map of Onondaga County. When you get to the map, you can see that we have nearly 50 polling sites across Onondaga County. And if we go ahead and click on one, let's head over to Skinny Atlas first. We click the link one more time, and all of a sudden you have an article from that polling site posted today, published today, timely news right there for your Democracy in Action coverage. Heading over to Eastern Syracuse, the same thing happens as well. If we go over to Pompey, click the link one more time, yet again, another article published today from that polling site. Let's finish things off with North Syracuse right here in the 315. Say it with me, click the link one more time, scroll on down, and you have yet another article from that polling site, this one specifically taking place at the North Syracuse Central Schools. As you see on the map, as I've mentioned so many times, nearly 50 polling sites across Onondaga County with nearly 50 reporters at each one of those polling sites. And Sam, all of those reporters, student journalists.
That's right, Liam, and actually some of those student reporters are guided by a professional journalist who uses Election Day as a teaching opportunity. Democracy in Action's Sasha Bull has more on the story of this Syracuse University professor.
Inside polling places across Onondaga County, citizens are exercising their right to vote. For some, like Charlie Miller, this is nothing new.
I vote every election regardless, no matter what. Always have since I was 18 years old.
Miller is a journalism professor in the Newhouse School at Syracuse University. Today, Newhouse has sent students to polling places around the county as part of its Democracy in Action coverage.
So we all know we have a civic duty to vote, but what about journalists and their civic duty to report on elections?
Under the First Amendment, journalists have a unique privilege to preserve democratic institutions by providing fair and accurate coverage of elections.
Our duty to report and write the news.
For Miller, student coverage of local elections is also vital for training the political journalists of the future.
I have students or former students who are working for ABC, CNN, MSNBC. I have a couple students who are White House correspondents, and they all got their starts doing what you're doing right now. So this is very important.
Hoping to inspire the next generation of civically engaged journalists, from the town of Onondaga, I'm Sasha Bull, NCC News.
For all your Democracy in Action updates, check out @Democracy in Action and search the hashtag NHDIA on Twitter. That's all for this edition of Democracy in Action. From all of us here at the Newhouse School of Public Communications, I'm Sam Gelfand.
And I'm Liam Crowley. Our next live stream is at 8 p.m. We'll see you there.